Hello, my name is Manik Punj. I am a field application specialist with Thermo Fisher Scientific, and in this presentation, we will go through Attune NxT Flow Cytometer's maintenance procedures, especially after the instrument has not been used for some time. In this presentation, we will begin by going over some of the Fluidic maintenance scripts that will be used in the restarting procedure. Next, we will go over the restarting procedure that will involve whether or not the system was put in long-term storage before shutdown. Lastly, we will finish the presentation with some general maintenance that will ensure interruption-free operation of the Attune NxT Flow Cytometer. Materials we will be using during the startup procedure are 10% bleach solution, which is 0.5% sodium hypochlorite, in the cleanest possible available water, Attune debubble solution, Attune NxT flow cell cleaning solution that we'll discuss further in details in the coming slides, normal use Invitrogen reagents, which include focusing fluid, wash solution, shutdown solution, and the Attune performance tracking beads that will be used to QC the instrument. Lastly, we will require 2 new Attune NxT focusing fluid filters. Quality of flow cytometry data can be affected by the cleanliness of the flow cell. Attune NxT flow cell cleaning solution is an alkaline solution that does a really good job of cleaning contaminants from the quartz crystal cuvette without damaging it. This solution is recommended to be used during the sip sanitize function just prior to shutdown. The recommended frequency of sip sanitize using Attune NxT flow cell cleaning solution depends on the number of samples being analyzed on the instrument. For high volume users, it's recommended that sip sanitize with this solution be run daily. With low frequency users, at least once a week, running sip sanitize with Attune NxT flow cell cleaning solution is recommended. Fluidic function scripts that will be used in the restarting procedure are startup, decontamination system, debubble, sanitize Attune sip, rinse, among other scripts. Starting with the system decontamination script, this script we recommend running quarterly for thorough cleaning of the system. Unlike other scripts where bleach or other decontaminating solutions only run through parts of the cytometer where samples travels, this decontamination script decontaminates every line in the system. The process takes about an hour and consists of 3 parts or phases: sanitize, rinse, and refill. It is extremely crucial that you do not initiate system decontamination script unless 2 replacement Attune NxT focusing filters are available on hand. As in the first phase, 10% bleach solution is run through the system, destroying the filters. Leaving old filters on after decontamination script may cause filters to tear off gradually and ultimately clog the system that may require serious intervention in order to clean and continue. Decontamination script, much like other Attune NxT fluidic function scripts, is quite descriptive and walks the user through the process. Please follow the instructions on the screen through the 3 phases. For the first part of the script, about 700 plus mils of bleach solution is required. In addition, 100 mils of wash solution needs to remain in the container to continue. In phase 2, 10% bleach solution is replaced with ultra-pure water to flush out the bleach. About 800 mils of water is needed. In phase 3, replace DI water with appropriate normal operating solutions and replace both focusing fluid filters. This is also a good script to run if you plan to place the instrument in long-term storage. In phase 3, right after rinse step and right before refill, instrument can be left in that state for a long period, as this is an ideal state for storage. In this state, the instrument is free of all salt solutions and is dry. The 2 focusing fluid filters in the fluidic compartment must be replaced 3 months, ideally after system decontamination script. However, in case of heavy usage, please replace the filters more often. The filter may grow some contamination over time or may get clogged. If you see any brownish red spots, it is highly recommended to change the filters immediately. If the filter is intact, it should keep growth out of the system. However, filters can rupture, and running system decontamination script to decontaminate the system is highly recommended. During normal operation, if the focusing fluid pumps takes long to fill the focusing fluid container or times out, change the filters immediately. Replacing the focusing fluid filter is quite easy. Remove the retention strap, pull on the top part of the focusing fluid filter towards you in order to give you space for maneuvering. Unscrew the top blower fitting, followed by the bottom one. Take off the old filter and replace with the new one. Ideally, you want to pre-flush the filter in order to get all the small particles out as to not introduce them into the system. However, this step is not required. Please place the new filter in the same orientation as the filter that was taken off, because the flow of the filter is directional. If not certain, the white cap portion of the filter should be in the down orientation. Secure the top and the bottom lure locks and ensure that they are tight as to not leak. Add the retention straps back on and prime the lines. To prime lines in the Attune NxT Flow Cytometer, please remember a simple rule of 3-2-1. Run 3 startups, followed by 2 debubbles and 1 rinse to purge all the air out of the system. Let's take a minute to talk about changing the syringes in the system. About twice a year, we recommend changing the syringe on the Attune NxT Flow Cytometer and the Autosampler. Depending on the type of autosampler present, the process may be slightly different, and we will talk more in details about specific autosamplers. These syringes can be ordered from Thermo Fisher Scientific's website. In case of any issues, or in case the instrument is used heavily, frequent change of the syringes is recommended in order to best avoid any downtime. Please consult your local engineer or application specialist for guidance. To change the syringe, ensure the system is completely powered off, ideally after running Shutdown or Decontamination script. In order to change the syringe, open the side door, loosen the thumb screw below on the plunger end of the syringe. Goal here is to loosen and not completely take off. Tools may be required to loosen the screw. Unscrew the top portion of the syringe just using your fingers. The glass portion of the syringe may shatter if mishandled. Next, ensure the new syringe is not seized by pushing and pulling on the plunger before installation. Install the syringe and finger tighten should be enough. Do not use additional tools to tighten the syringe. Properly seat the ball end of the syringe in the plunger retention apparatus and tighten the thumb screw to secure the plunger end of the syringe. Again, finger tightening should be enough. We highly recommend that you revisit the syringe after a few startups, because if any gaps were present during installations, the gaps become more prominent after running startups and may require retightening. Go through 3-2-1 priming steps to purge all the air out of the system. Replacing the Attune Autosampler syringe, although slightly complicated, is like changing any other syringe. This procedure in the next few slides refers to the Attune Autosampler and not the CytKick Autosampler. A flat blade screwdriver and 0.05-inch Allen or hex key are required for this procedure. Start by powering off the Autosampler. Open the fluidic compartment door. Remove the focusing fluid container and the waste container in order to gain access to the syringe. Lower the plunger if the plunger is not already down by turning the thumb wheel located towards the left of the syringe. Remove the screw retaining the plunger using a flathead screwdriver. Next, unscrew the syringe. After you are convinced that the new syringe is not seized by pushing and pulling on the plunger, Install the new syringe in the reverse order to how the previously installed syringe was taken out. After a few startups, please check to ensure that the syringe is tight. If loose, please tighten. Once the new syringe is installed, we have to calibrate the syringe and the autosampler. First, power on the autosampler. Then, press the initialize button, which is the lower of the two buttons located on the right of the syringe, which will cause the syringe to move down. Using the thumb wheel located on the left of the syringe, move the plunger up until plunger basically contacts the top of the syringe. Next, press the set home button, which is the upper of the two buttons located on the right of the syringe when facing the autosampler. Now, the hard part is done. We just have to go through the regular Autosampler and Attune power cycle. To calibrate the Attune NxT and the Autosampler, run startup script, and upon completion of startup, calibrate the Autosampler by clicking on Calibrate Autosampler icon located in the instrument ribbon, also shown here. The process should take about a minute for the Attune Autosampler to calibrate. In case of any issues, please contact Thermo Fisher Scientific Support. Calibration of Autosampler needs to be done every 30 days. The Autosampler will automatically go through a full calibration every 30 days. However, calibration can be run more frequently as needed. Attune Autosampler is serviced through the Rapid Exchange program, whereupon a new autosampler is shipped for next day delivery once an official complaint is initiated. After decontaminating the defective autosampler, ship it back to Thermo Fisher in the same box that the new autosampler arrived. Please ship us the defective autosampler within a week. Please use the containers, power, and communication cables from the previous autosampler, as they will not be sent unless specified during the complaint initiation. If working with CytKick or CytKick Max, changing the syringe is slightly simpler. Simply loosen the top fitting to break the seal, pull the plunger down by hand, remove the bottom thumb screw holding the plunger, and unscrew the syringe rest of the way out. To install the new syringe, install the bottom part of the syringe first by securing the thumb screw, finger tighten it. Next, move the top part of the syringe up until it can be screwed in and tightened. Always good to check the syringe fittings are still tight after running a few startup scripts. Next, ensure there are no cracks or issues found with the fluidic lines connecting the Attune NxT Cytometer to CytKick or CytKick Max. Please change out the lines if needed. And after startup, please run Calibrate Autosampler. CytKick calibration also calibrates the volume in the lines in addition to the location of the probe. The calibration of volume ensures there are no leading data gaps during sample acquisitions from wells. In case any replacement parts are required, these are the catalog numbers for the replacement parts and can be ordered on Thermo Fisher's website. If external fluid supply is present, please go through the cleaning procedure described in the maintenance guide or steps listed above. In summary, the steps are similar to decontamination script, where 10% bleach is run through the lines in the EFS system, then rinsed with DI water and refilled with appropriate fluids. An empty focusing fluid cube is required, so save an old container that can be rinsed clean for the purposes of EFS maintenance. For the purpose of storage, the EFS system can be purged with air and left in non-operation state for a prolonged period, or fitted with new focusing fluid cube container for immediate use. Powering on the Attune NxT from standby, which is a state in which the lights on the Attune NxT are slowly changing color, is quite simple, and you run startup by simply clicking on startup icon on the instrument ribbon and follow the instructions as you see on the screen. In case of a complete power cycling of the instrument, the correct sequence is to turn on the autosampler first, wait for 30 seconds for the autosampler to complete initialization, that is essentially the tray stops moving. Power on the Attune NxT from the switch in the back. Wait for the lights to stop blinking blue. Blinking blue is a state in which the firmware is being uploaded. After the lights are solid blue, go to the instrument ribbon on the software, click on startup, and follow the directions seen on the software. Now that we have reviewed all the materials and procedures needed, let's talk about restarting the Attune NxT if the Attune NxT was not placed in long-term storage. The long-term storage procedure involves running the first two phases of the system decontamination script, and the instrument after rinsing out DI water is left dry. Alternatively, procedure where the system is left free of salt and dry is an ideal state for Attune NxT for long periods of inactivity. If the Attune NxT did not go through a long-term shutdown procedure, start by running system decontamination script, because this is the best script to run in order to decontaminate the instrument. Following the decontamination script, keeping with our 3, 2, and 1 rule, run 3 startups, 2 debubbles, and 1 rinse to rinse out the system and make sure it's purged of all the air. Next, run performance test using the performance tracking beats. If the delta PMTs are not too far off compared to the previous values, you may continue on with your experiments. In case that the performance does not pass, there is a chance that due to inactivity of the instrument, salts buildup may have occurred in the instrument. And the best way to remove is to dissolve it using warm distilled ultra pure water. Run the deep clean script. However, instead of using 10% bleach, use warm 40 to 45 degrees Celsius DI water. This will help remove salt from the system. Following the deep clean, run debubble script twice. Following that, run deep clean again. However, instead of using 10% bleach, use the Attune NxT Flow Cell Cleaning solution. Just remember, you need to dilute your flow cell cleaning solution 1 to 3 in DI water. After these steps, run the performance tracking beats to see if the instrument passes. If it doesn't, repeat the steps starting with running deep clean with warm water, going through the debubble, and running deep clean again with flow cell cleaning solution. Alternating between running deep clean script with warm distilled water and flow cell cleaning solution will gradually remove salt and debris from the lines. If performance test still doesn't pass following the above steps, please look through the troubleshooting guide for guidance. If that doesn't help, please contact Thermo Fisher Scientific Support with serial number of the instrument to open up a service call. Now let's talk about the second scenario where the instrument was stored properly before shutdown, either by running system decontamination script or a long-term shutdown procedure where Attune NxT was rinsed with ultra-pure water and then left dry. When restarting the system from this state, please start by ensuring that the new focusing fluid filters are installed on the Attune NxT, because keeping old focusing fluid filters after system decontamination can be detrimental to the system. Next, follow the 3-2-1 rule to run 3 startups, followed by 2 debubbles and 1 rinse. During the startup process, please check the syringe on the Attune NxT and the Autosampler or CytKick for signs of leaks. Run the performance test. If the performance test passes, continue on with your experiments. If performance test does not pass, go through the 3-2-1 steps to prime the lines, followed by deep clean using the Attune NxT Flow Cell Cleaning solution. Repeat the performance test. If it still continues to not pass, use the troubleshooting guide for guidance. If that does not help, please contact Thermo Fisher Scientific Support with the serial number to open up a service call. Now let's discuss some of the troubleshooting tips and tricks to help identify the problems with the Attune NxT and expedient solutions. Let's take the scenario where the data stream via time parameter looks choppy or no events are coming through. Test the sample syringe movement. Observe the smoothness of the plunger movement as it moves during sample acquisition or rinse script. Erratic movements of the syringe will translate to non-uniform or choppy collection of data, and in this case, best to change the syringe. If the syringe is not moving at all or no errors are seen on the software, please check the USB connection. Make sure USB is connected properly. Power cycle the Attune NxT. If clog is suspected, run the unclog script. Loose connections of the fluidic lines can result in multitude of issues, so always ensure the fluidic lines from the container and the sensor cables are connected properly. Waste line not connected properly will result in a clogged message as the path to the waste is obstructed, resulting in back pressure in the system, which Attune NxT interprets as a clog. Attune NxT and Autosampler have leak sensors that are conductivity-based sensors and will trigger in presence of fluid or salt on the instrument floor. In case of accidental leaks, please clean up the bottom of the tray and identify the source of the leak. In case where sensors is constantly triggering without presence of liquid, please initiate a service call to have an engineer come in to reduce the sensitivity of the sensor. In case of other errors, please consult the Maintenance and Troubleshooting Guide, Attune NxT User's Guide, or other guides available. Most of the information can be obtained from Thermo Fisher's website. In North America, help can be obtained by calling our 800 number, or using the email accounts listed here, or via web submission. If reaching us to open up a service call, please have the serial number of the instrument available. Help in EMEA region can be obtained via the phone number listed here or the Eurotech email account. Once again, please have the serial number of the instrument available when contacting technical support team. For the rest of the world, please go to thermofisher.com to find the best number to contact in your region. Thermofisher.com is an excellent resource to obtain wealth of information, including guides and other information. Anytime opening a service call, please have the serial number of the instrument available because we can track the history of the instrument via the serial number and provide appropriate support. Continuing on with general maintenance of Attune NxT, periodically inspect the fluidic compartment for leaks. Puddles of liquid in a flow cytometer, or for that matter any microfluidic instrument, is always a bad sign. Check the fluidic levels of all the containers and fill and empty as required. Please check the syringe and the filters to ensure there are no active leaks or signs of leaks, which can be identified by salt crystals. If using Thermo Fisher provided solutions, there shouldn't be any contamination or growth in the containers. However, at any sign of growth in the buffer, please discard the solutions, decontaminate the container with bleach, and rinse out with ultra pure water before refilling the containers back with appropriate solutions. When removing a container from the instrument, we recommend disconnecting the sensor cable first, followed by the tubing. To reconnect the container, plug the tubing first until an audible click is heard, and then connect the sensor cable. Improper connection of tubing may result in back pressure issues, and gone undiagnosed for a long period may harm the instrument. If using CytKick or CytKick Max, an option for standard or deep well plate can be selected when running sanitized Attune SIP protocol. Depending on whether a standard or a deep well plate was used last, please select the appropriate option from the menu and follow the directions in the software. If using a deep well plate, following the deep well cleaning instructions ensure full length cleaning of the probe and minimize contamination next time a deep well plate is used to acquire samples. For systems with CytKick, test plate function can be used to check the dimensions of the plate entered in the software are appropriate. The system runs through a quick probe calibration with specific plate in place to ensure accuracy of the plate dimensions. Again, the software is quite descriptive and will walk you through the process once test plate script is initiated. If all works well, Test complete without error message should appear in the window. As a general guideline for clogs and other issues-free operation of the system, please always rinse after acquisition of sample. If using tube samples, please lower the tube lifter after every sample and do not let the samples sit in the lines as they may stick over time. When using the sample input port or SIP to acquire samples from tubes, there is no mechanism to clean the outside of the SIP, so always wipe the outside of the SIP using a clean chem wipe or submerge the tube of clean buffer between samples to minimize carryover. Use sanitized SIP between sticky samples. Between experiments or users, please run sanitized SIPs, perhaps using flow cell cleaning solution after dilution. If the next person is not due onto the instrument for some time, please consider running a quick deep clean script. At the end of the day of heavy use, run thorough shutdown with freshly prepared 10% bleach solution. Gently remove dust from the surface of the filter using a blower, lens cleaning tissue, or soft brush. Never use chem wipe to clean the lenses because it is too abrasive. In case of a scratched lens, please replace. Here is the maintenance summary of all the scripts that we have gone through so far. This will ensure proper and interruption-free operation of the Attune NxT Flow Cytometer. In case of any further questions, please contact your local support representative or go to thermofisher.com/attune to find appropriate resources for help. Thank you for your time.